In the last video, I talked about a few very versatile watches that some might call boring that are actually really cool. But today I wanted to do a complete opposite of that, something that's a little bit more in the fun land of indie watchmaking with the new Wild Ones in 39. Let's talk Norqain. Today we are looking at the new Norqain Wild One Skeleton collection in 39. We have new colors, new size, and these are still as durable and as fun as before. Now, before you guys jump at me about these watches, yes, I still like my boring watches, but I also like the weird and wonderful. And these Wild Ones fall in that niche category. I'm gonna go through the design details, the specs, things I like, and things that I'm not a massive fan of. So we have 4 new colors in the Wild One 39mm range. 3 are part of the standard collection, and this mint green version is just limited to 400 pieces. Now, personally, I don't wear big watches. In fact, most of my watches are under 40mm. But I got myself the Wild One Skeleton in 42 at the start of this year, and then Watches and Wonders happened, where these 39mm versions were released. I did have a little bit of a moment, not of regret, but a moment where I was like, did I make a mistake? Should I have waited for these new, smaller versions? I'm going to talk a little bit about that at the end because I do have a bias, I do have a favorite, but let's go over the specs first. These come in a 39mm case with a thickness of just 11.8mm and a lug-to-lug of 45.8mm. You get flat sapphire crystals on both the front and the case back, 200 meters of water resistance with a screw-down crown, making this a proper do-anything sports watch. The movement inside is the N86, which is a skeletonized automatic COSC-certified Sellita SW200-1SC, beating at 4 Hz with 41 hours of power reserve. What attracted me towards these wasn't the skeletonized style. In fact, I feel like that's the only point where a few improvements could be made, especially in the legibility department. But the main thing that got me obsessed with these watches was the case, and the amount of work they've put into the case construction. The case is actually constructed out of 25 parts. The movement is first placed in a titanium container with an outer cage created out of a proprietary carbon-based material that the brand calls Nortec. 2 things makes this carbon-based material different from your standard carbon fiber. 1 is that it can be produced in any color, and 2, it's as tough as a construction safety helmet, while being 6 times lighter than steel and 3.5 times lighter than titanium. On top of that, the cases are reinforced with rubber shock absorbers that provide an added layer of protection, guaranteeing a shock absorption rating of up to 5,000 Gs. It's not just that these are light and durable, they are practically indestructible. I should know because I've accidentally dropped this. I drop things all the time. Not a scratch, not a single dent on a hard floor. I dropped this on a hard floor. It's completely fine. Don't test this out. This is just my own personal experience. It's not a fact, so you don't have to believe it. But this personally makes me feel comfortable wearing this watch while doing anything. Now, is this a gimmick? Like, why do I need 5,000 Gs of force? Yeah, as much of a gimmick as my Seamaster's 300 meters of water resistance and a helium escape valve, especially for a non-diver like me. It's completely unnecessary, but I like that it's there. Now, at 5,400 euros or around 25,000 Malaysian ringgit, these aren't cheap. Somebody asked me why I keep mentioning Malaysian prices. That's because I am based in Malaysia, so this makes it a Malaysian watch channel. The price is a bit steep on this one. That part did sting. I did have to save up for a while, but I don't regret it. I see this as a concept piece because even within the high-end luxury, looking at brands like IWC, Ulysse Nardin, they've only just started releasing mechanical watches with high shock absorption. This is still a very early concept in watchmaking that could take many years to become a normalized trend. But I like this because it gives you a lot of the similar wrist feel and durability without costing several tens of thousands like the Diver Air or IWC's Big Pilot shock absorber. Among this new collection, my personal pick would be the mint green because I love the fact that it's got this blacked out bridges. To me, it looks much more refined and intentional than the unfinished bridges on the standard version. But I still love my orange coral version. And I like that the lugs curve down and hug the wrist, so it doesn't wear as large as some of the other 42mm watches. It serves its purpose as an unpretentious sports watch with a mechanical heart that can take a beating. What I would love to see in future models is more attention on legibility. Remove the skeletonized hands and use matte solid loomed hands with thicker applied markers, similar to what we saw in the latest Independence collection. A second thing they could consider is tinted sapphire crystal to increase legibility, so the hands and markers don't visually blend into the dial but stand out on their own. This is a great starting point, especially as a sports watch template, but I think those minor updates could really solidify this as a whole package. Sometimes we get so inundated and overly obsessed with things like in-house, bang for buck, and specs for the money that we start letting numbers and spec sheets determine what we should or shouldn't like. Obviously, specs are important. They give us an idea on how the watch will run, how often we'll need to wind it, and how much the servicing could be. But the way that I personally fell in love with this watch was simply by trying this on. I was wearing this exact shirt and I just put this on during an event. I knew that I had to have this one day. It just became such a no-brainer for me. It's not a perfect watch. If I didn't have any other watches, I don't think this would be my first pick. But after being in this hobby for a few years, I kind of know what I like and what I don't like. I don't think these watches are going to be for everyone, but most people that do like these are a bit bored of collecting traditional brands. Obviously, we love our Tudors and Omegas, but if you want a different wearing experience on the wrist without having to spend tens of thousands, give these a try. You might be surprised. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. A huge thanks to Sincere Fine Watches. They are an authorized dealer for Norqain and several other brands, so definitely check them out. I'll link them in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.